Hey everybody, Jay Barino here, and welcome back. We're playing Warcraft 3, or StarCraft 2, Azeroth Reborn. It's Warcraft 3 in StarCraft 2. We're on to Chapter 4 of the Undead campaign, Key of the Three Moons. The last mission was surprisingly difficult. The enemy attacks were very large. We had to deal with Sylvanas, with Starfall, presumably this mission as well, and the next one. Moments later, just beyond the shattered Elf Gate. I am semi-future Jay Barino. I'm still in the past for you, but I'm not doing live commentary because I recorded this with my microphone muted. Oops! We'll talk a little bit more about that, I suppose, in the actual mission.
Fall back to the trees!
You've won through this gate, Butcher, but you won't get through the second. The inner gate to Silvermoon can only be opened with a special key, and it shall never be yours.
You waste your time, woman. You cannot outrun the inevitable.
You think that I'm running from you? Apparently, you've never fought elves before.
Damn that woman! We must find a way to cross the river. What is it?
So yeah, I had my microphone muted because I was recording some footage that I didn't want any microphone capture. I guess I could have just unplugged the microphone. Anyway, I never unmuted it, so I guess the only alternative was to re-record this entirely with live commentary, but like, whatever. What's funny is the last time this happened, it was also on a Synergy project. I think it was in Heart of the Swarm Protoss Edition, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Key of the Three Moons, we got to do a little dropping on this mission. We do a little dropping, and we get Crypt Fiends, very, very strong unit. For the most part, we probably only have to make exclusively those, plus meat wagons for the remainder of the entire Undead campaign, honestly. Except that one where we have to make abominations to get through the little field. I don't know what passed me was, I was mousing over like a ledge there. I guess I was wondering, how are the enemy attacks going to work? Because one thing that really I was noticing on the last mission, at least, is the key difference in terms of difficulty here is the enemy attacks are, I would say, probably about twice as large, if not more, compared to the base game. So your expectations around enemy attacks needs to be substantially adjusted. Attacking enemy bases is about the same. It's not really any harder or easier. It's just, you have Sylvanas, depending on where she's at, you have to be very, very cognizant of that Starfall, which is spooky. The game speed is a little faster, so even just a couple seconds of you missing it is bad news. This mission notoriously has little to no item pickups, a weird little hidden spider up here for 5 gold. You love to see it. Really no creeps except the ones we just killed. I don't think there's any more. I don't know, I guess I didn't check the bottom left, but I don't think there's anything else to find.
Finally.
Man, post-commentary is weird, let me tell you. It's something, though, I want to get better at because I've been recording some footage for older series. Like, I replayed Odyssey Act 1 for StarCraft 2, and I replayed Curse of the Blood Elves. I'm sorry, Rise of the Blood Elves by Tomo Raider. And I have footage for both of those campaigns, but I didn't commentate over them. And the idea was I wanted to go back and do post-commentary, so I guess this is some practice for that. But a big part of that is preparation. Like, I need some topics to riff on before I just dive in. For this, I literally just recorded this footage, realized my microphone was muted, and was like, well, okay. And then I was like, just hit the record button of the footage, and we're gonna, we're doing it live. But not actually. We're doing it post-live, but still pre-recorded for you.
Complete.
I'm like weird liminal space Jay Barino right now. I exist in a period of time between dimensions. Anyway.
I wish only to serve. Upgrade complete.
What's going on this map? So I'm throwing down quite a lot of spirit towers. This is probably more... I mean, you have to make the ziggurats, but I probably make more spirit towers this mission than I ever would originally. But again, that's because I noticed that last mission, the enemy attacks were huge. Not that you can really rely on static defense when the enemy has a lot of footmen with defend. It's important, too, to try to get over that area on the right.
No one orders me.
It's the only area of the map you have to drop until the very, very end.
Cannot attack the flying beasts. Fear not. The Crypt Fiends can force them to the ground. Finally.
And we do have these these Dragon Hawks, but they don't cloud. That's a Frozen Throne thing, so we can just spam some towers and kill those. And that's no problem at all. But this mission also, because you have to drop, you're kind of in a unique position where you have to heavily defend, and you can't easily get back to your base to defend it. Unless you decide to load up into ships and come back, which is not something I am keen on doing. And then in Azeroth Reborn, where defense is probably the much more difficult part of it, this mission kind of uniquely stands out in that way. The previous map, similarly, you have to go through these like windy paths through the forest, and it's kind of difficult to get all the way back to your base. But we still did, whereas this map, there's really not an option to. Throwing down a save, because I didn't know how much I would realistically need to get through this base. But like I know now, after playing it, realistically, attacking enemy bases is honestly it's pretty easy, especially because the destructive power of our siege weaponry is very strong. It seems like I forgot that I had Death Coil for a while here. That one really low Crypt Fiend just sort of hanging out for a while. And yeah, so like this space is not really that difficult to push into. So I think I did build some units to sit at home on defense. Or at least here we go, I start to. One thing that I forget is you have to click the button multiple times. Like when you say you had like 12 Ziggurats selected. If you hit Z one time in Warcraft 3, they all will convert for as much money as you have that allows for it. In this, you have to hit it multiple times based on how many you want to build. I mean, I don't really have a preference. I mean, actually, I think the StarCraft 2A is better. It gives you a little bit more precise control. But I'm not used to it. And this looks visually so much like Warcraft 3 that my brain is wired to treat it as if it is Warcraft 3, which is good, but then I don't turn all my Ziggurats into Spirit Towers because I think I hit the button once, and that will make me my defense, when in reality, I only make one. This becomes a thing. This becomes more and more of a thing. I don't know if the enemy priests usually have inner fire on this map. It's not super important whether they do or do not, but you know, that's just a little added thing. Oh, there's the Death Coil. Look at that. Your boy Jay Barino remembered he has abilities he can use on his hero. Arthas looking good though with that 300 health Khadgar's gem. He's looking great with that. You'll love to see it. And unfortunately, I think that Necropolis placement blocks the pathway for some of my units to be able to even fit through. Like, that left path is not actually traversable for whatever reason. So you'd think 5 Spirit Towers plus 2 Crypt Fiends should be more than enough defense for an attack that comes around 8 minutes on a map, but it's not. It's not. Oh, we also have the Halls of the Dead that are able to shoot quite a distance away and are helping us, and they have that Nerubian Tower attack, too. Ghouls getting pulled. Ghouls getting pulled to help defend. There's Starfall. Again, the devastation that brings. I understand it's manipulatable because buildings don't keep it triggered, thankfully. But still can do a ton of damage, even if you miss it by an extra 1 second. For no joke. Turns out, this amount of defense is more than enough for now, but Sylvanas' health regeneration specifically, it's like, it really comes in strong. She's got a lot of survivability. Got to rebuild those ghouls. And overall, first Sylvanas attack goes okay, but, then I'm like, uh-oh. So I start really slamming on the Ziggurats for Spirit Towers.
Summoning.
This mission is also a good example of one where you don't have, or your supply is tied to your static defense, and we see some serious, some serious variance in our supply cap because those get destroyed quite a bit.
Stand ready. At last.
Also, the supply efficiency of meat wagons it's a hard sell. Like, they're very strong, but I would really, I don't know, I just can't bring myself to do it. To leave meat wagons on defense.
Is a component of
it's for supply.
3 moons. The other 2 crystals must be found if the Elf Gate is to be unlocked.
So another time here where the quest item is not in our inventory, a very, very nice thing. So I can't complain about how, you know, oh, the enemy attacks were made harder when, you know, we have a lot of benefits of our own, specifically when it comes to siege weaponry and our hero. You know, we got that really good survivability item, or two of them actually, with that shield thing. And yeah, past Jaberino's like, you know what? Let's not mess around with these enemy attacks. So, even more Spirit Towers. Again, 7 Spirit Towers up along the top, plus 4 Crypt Fiends. Feels like a very, very solid investment.
This better be.
And honestly, looking at it now, I completely forgot. Are we capped at 90 supply like in Reign of Chaos? I thought it was 100. That was made consistent, but I may just be short literally 1 ziggurat.
Research complete.
Orb of Darkness, casual Orb of Darkness. That's a new addition to this map. That's a very, very strong orb. 3 skellies. There's another case where, yeah, there we go. Hit the button twice, Jaberino. Perfect. Now we have 2 Spirit Towers instead of just 1. Finishing up our upgrades. And reviewing, I guess, my ghoul situation, because we're okay on lumber now, but as you harvest those trees, the travel time becomes a bit of a problem. Defend, surprisingly good spell. Very, very good spell, actually, to just plow those footmen into static defense.
I bow to your will.
And we're going to set up some additional production over here, just because then we don't have to ferry them over. Now we only have to deal with waygates, which is kind of its own challenge, as you'll see.
The time is now.
Now we're making some additional acolytes to heal. I usually don't build extra acolytes. I'll just pull them off of gold harvesting, but again, there's... excuse me. There's some... there's no upkeep, rather. There's not some upkeep. There's 0 upkeep. We purposefully set the game to not have upkeep. That's another reason why the game can be allowed to be harder, just because you can get above 50 supply and 80 supply and not worry about the reduced income. So you can macro a lot harder, but again, it's a habit. It's just weird. Similar to the whole, like, push the button multiple times to build out of multiple production structures type thing, where versus in the original. This team has done such a good job in using these assets that it really just feels like my brain defaults to saying, yes, I have the Warcraft 3 application running right now.
No one orders
that, you know, all those neural connections that have been formed are being defaulted to. So then, when something in StarCraft 2 functionality overwrites that, it's not automatic. I don't really recognize it right away. I do really like how the waygates are colored on the minimap. That's quite nice. I don't know if that's the case in...
Research complete.
How do waygates look on the Warcraft 3 map? Now I'm definitely losing it. I don't even know. But anyway, they're very clearly linked here, and I don't think they are in OG Warcraft 3. We're looking at our items here. Those circlets are kind of replaceable. We got rid of the gauntlets of strength. That's just 3 strength. I'd rather have a circlet that's -1 strength of our primary stat, but we gain 4 more in others. In my opinion, that's much better. This is also the campaign where Arthas gets boots of Quel'Thalas, which is a bummer because it's +6 of agility. Like, I would rather have a circlet. Think of it this way. +6 is +6 stats. You see, like, a +6, you know, agility boots. What's the +6 strength item? I don't know. But the different, you know, +6 items, you think, oh, wow, these are pretty good. But if it's not in your primary stat, I actually think it's better to get a circlet. That is still +6 stats, but at least 2 of them are in your primary stat. It's just dispersing the stats in a better way. So those +6 boots I always remember holding on to on Arthas in this campaign, because there really aren't many better alternatives. But it seems like the team specifically added much better items for this campaign in particular. The nice thing here is they drop their artillery right there on that ledge, so their artillery gets taken out pretty fast. But you can see a very large attack. We have 2 enemies that have doubled up. I don't know I assume it's intentional. I don't know how else this could work, because the attacks are on strict timers. There's no, like, randomization to it. Like, the AI just follow very strict triggering on when they attack. But blue and teal attacked us at the exact same time, plus Sylvanas. So this is where, you know, we have 7 Spirit Towers plus Halls of the Dead, and we do a pretty good job there in canceling the Starfall, and even still, this clearly is not enough to hold on. It's a lot, you know. So I'm frantically trying to make more stuff at home. And, you know, we've got our 4 Crypt Fiends. We're doing our best to hang on here. It's looking like we'll be able to hang on. I just played this, but I honestly don't remember how this attack goes. Some of them will go okay, and some of them are very, very difficult. So maybe if I would have backed up a little bit and pulled them into the Halls of the Dead, that would have been better. Yeah, Sylvanas going down, trying to do some burrow micro here. Trying to channel my inner AI, being an asshole with the burrow micro. It's looking like Sylvanas is going to go. You love that.
Yes, master.
And then time to tower spam again. And actually, lumber is becoming the bigger of the issues, even though I have, what, 4 or 5 ghouls on it on the other side of the map, which is the equivalent of about 8 workers. You get about twice the efficiency out of ghouls because they're 2 supply. So I guess them hitting the tree with their hands, tearing lumber away at a greater rate that's a man with an axe. But, you know, that's cool. The size of that attack now has prompted me to be like, you know what, we probably need to get this show on the road, because this is becoming horrifying, the size of the enemy attacks. Yeah, 5 ghouls, that's quite a lot.
Summoning is complete. Summoning.
And I think me looking at those necropolises, no, that's the ziggurats, at that moment before they were all complete, was the critical error, the upcoming critical error.
Is complete. Summoning is complete.
The center area isn't really even a base. They don't have any production. Well, they do have some production here, but they don't have a town hall here or anything like that. I don't know if these contribute to their attack waves, or they should actually. Any enemy-owned production structures should contribute to, I think, any attack or defense scripts that they have going on. I guess that depends. You might be able to fine-tune that with the way that the triggering works, but I would assume they do. It's owned by the faction. But there's no town hall here or anything like that, so we're just going to keep this roll going. I realize, like, we have to pick an enemy base and take it out immediately. This is also the moment I realized that we have to rally into the Waygate. In original Warcraft 3, if I were to right-click and rally to where my army is right now, your units will spawn, and they'll treat the Waygate as if it's just a linear pathway to where they're going. They can calculate the best pathway to take. Understandably, recreating that in StarCraft 2 is probably very difficult. So, yeah, I don't know how possible that is. It'd probably just be an inordinate amount of work for what you get out of it. But as a result, this mission is surprisingly difficult. Just because if you can't really easily rally stuff, you have to rally it to the Waygate, and then from once they go through the Waygate, you have to kind of path them then into the next Waygate to bring them to where my current army is. So it's really difficult to get reinforcements up here. Meanwhile, we're getting slaughtered at home by another double attack wave. Here comes blue.
Our forces are under attack.
And then we're in Teal's base right now, or Cyan. I'm not sure what color you would consider that, but again, the struggle is real. I wasn't building extra units in the back end, and then we got supply blocked, so I can't build more units in order to keep defending. So I think at this point I just say, you know what? The defense of that thing at home, that area at home, just isn't worth it. We don't need it anymore. I guess besides the ziggurats, it's not giving us any value. I already have production structures across the river. I'm loving the blue-colored treasure chests. I don't know. There's something so visually appealing about those. Second moon crystal. We got a lot of gold out of that initial gold mine. So we just let those acolytes go. And I said the only tech we're missing is our graveyard. So this is my new base now. Friendship ended with first base. Second base is my new best friend.
What is it now? Speak.
Memes.
Summoning is complete.
Is that considered an old meme now? Do people still know what that meme is? I feel like I have a lot of ancient memes in my mind. Like, do you remember the shoes, the Oh My God Shoes music video from like 13 years ago, or probably more?
My fate is sealed.
That same guy made the muffins video. Was it cupcakes? Like that, you know. That stuff is ancient. I feel like a lot of if you're younger and you started watching my channel, you know, like semi-recently, you probably don't know any of this stuff. Granted, I don't know half the stuff that, you know, whatever the kids are talking about these days. I don't know. The vernacular changes a lot. Like the second you leave high school, suddenly now everyone still in high school is now using different language for everything.
Upgrade complete.
I think being online in the way that I am in an online community does keep me uniquely aware of some of the popular trends, more so than the average 35-year-old individual. But, you know, probably to my own detriment.
Frostmourne hunger.
It's fine. Like, it's nice to know what people are talking about, what young people are talking about sometimes. But honestly, you know, I think you get to a certain age where you're like, it's not topical to me anymore. I don't care. Do you remember how it feels like it must have been ages ago, but realistically, how long ago was it when we all used to say that we were shook? Y'all remember that? Nobody does that anymore. That was pretty short-lived. That was maybe like a solid 8 to 12 months of us saying something, and then suddenly we all realize, oh yeah, actually that's actually really stupid. Like, that just sounds really stupid. Why do we do that? And then we all just sort of collectively decided we're just not going to do that anymore. By the way, the enemy attacks that were hitting my main base have now decided that they're going to hit this this right base instead, and Sylvanas is here, so I think this was the remnants of the Cyan and blue attack, plus a new blue attack with Sylvanas. Sylvanas taking a huge chunk of damage from Death Coil, so maybe if I remember to actually use my spells, you know, we'd be in much better shape. The faster game speed in general is it's difficult to use single target spells effectively. The units move you know, a lot faster, a lot more abruptly, and it's hard to land those spells. Sometimes you might be targeting something and then it moves and you can't land it, and it's an excuse, but it's true. I don't know if destroying your Zeppelins matters at all. They might just probably just build those, if I had to guess, out of their town hall for free.
Tread lightly.
If you destroy them. But I'm not so sure. It's possible. Maybe you destroy all of them. Anyway, going a solid amount of meat wagons, and we're still supply blocked because I lost my whole original base. But, you know, again, we got all the value from the gold mine. For the most part, there's like 1,000 in there. Gold isn't the problem. It's surprisingly lumber right now. The other thing with that large attack is because I was in the middle of attacking Cyan's base, that I didn't realize that all those ziggurats I built, I never turned into spirit towers. And so, that, again, like I had said at the time, that was kind of the death knell of that main base. But whatever. You live and you learn. Granted, I don't know how much learning I really need to be doing anymore when it comes to video games. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like, I can learn to a certain extent, like, as long as I can sort of win and enjoy myself, then, like, there's not some sort of, like, ethical obligation to be learning in order to improve and, you know, get way better at video games, right? I don't know. I don't know. Is that, like, a controversial statement? Like, if you're not actively trying to self-improve at every aspect of your life, then what are you doing with yourself? You're throwing your life away. I just call that prioritization, you know? Like, acknowledging that there's a lot of things in life that we want to do, and there's probably only so much mental bandwidth that we can do it with. And I'm not sure if a mod for StarCraft 2 is where that bandwidth needs to be allocated, you know? Anyway, we're attacking this base. We got rid of Cyan. One thing I guess I didn't really talk about here is that has a huge impact because that's half of the enemy attacks no longer hitting us because they can't build anything anymore. Yeah, trying to rally into the red waygate and then shift-click the units over into the blue one so that we can get some reinforcements because this is a pretty tight... This is a pretty tight engagement up here. We're losing stuff. And I wanted to hit Sylvanas with Death Coil there, but the Dragonhawk was like right on top of her and I couldn't quite get her. Arthas not looking too hot right now. It's a good thing we don't take friendly fire from those meat wagons. Big Death Coil. And I just noticed, did you see that when it became daytime, there was a Dragonhawk rider that literally disappeared? He just went poof, like maybe he's like a vampire or something. He just disappeared into the ether as soon as the sun came out. Anyway, it looks like we held on here by the skin of our teeth. by the sheer power of meat wagons. I did manage to get one additional meat wagon of reinforcements up. You love to see it. We got some more just sitting there. Again, it's just like this. There's a tedium to this where in the original you didn't really have. And we gotta hunt down all their workers and get rid of their castles so they can't rebuild anything. But their altar is gone, so no more Sylvanas. She is a real threat, and I just death packed a skeleton with like 10% HP, so not really an efficient use there.
The dead
Okay, and then once again trying to bring up these reinforcements because I did lose a lot of Crypt Fiends. The best you can do is you can rally to the Waygate, and I think you can actually shift queue rallies in StarCraft 2. I think I tried it at the end of this one, if I remember. We'll see. You can, right-click your production structures into the Waygate and then shift-click them into the other Waygate and then shift-click them so they rally up with your army. Again, it's still quite tedious, but it is possible. It's better than nothing. But this is probably the only mission where that matters at all, and, in approximately 5 minutes, it will no longer matter to either you, neither you nor me. Okay, Sylvanas' base is gone. She doesn't have any production. I did set up this middle base with the intent of making production here. And in fact, I probably should have just done that in the first place, rather than building it through the first Waygate. But if you built it on that center area with connections to all 3 areas, that would be way better. But again, I didn't know what to expect when it came to rallying and stuff.
What does the shadow will?
One way that you can play this...
The 3rd moon crystal. The key of the 3 moons is complete.
Is you can actually use acolytes to repair the bridge. I saw a worker come down here. I'm like, it's possible in StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, and Warcraft 3. If you leave one worker alive, they have the potential to rebuild everything. Probably more so in StarCraft 1 and Warcraft 3. In StarCraft 2, you have to very specifically, set things, bully triggers, etc., etc. But yeah, we get rid of those workers. I was saying something right before that, and I don't remember, but it's whatever. Make it another Zeppelin, because you do have to drop across that final area. And you'll love to see it. Last area usually has Sylvanas in it as well, but I think she is absent. Oh, and one thing I didn't, it's post-commentary. Things get missed sometimes because, like, in my mind, I had already said stuff, and it's, like, already been mentally checked off as something that I have commented on. At the very start, you notice we started with a whole base. In the original, you have to destroy a base and then build your own, which is a pain. Thank you so much, Team Azeroth Reborn. TAR, the TAR team. That's just Team Azeroth Reborn team. It's a little redundant. Thank you, TAR, for that. And also, Synergy pointed out how in the last mission, we did have to build our structures, but they built twice as fast. Which is pretty cool. Well, he said, is it that they built 50% faster? If they built twice as fast? Or, I don't know if that translates to twice as fast, or if that translates to... I'm not so sure. I think basically the ultimate thing is they built twice as fast. It's not that they built, 150%. It's that they built 200%. I don't know. Regardless, we're here with the Elf Gate. Arthas is fine. He can tank a lot better than he can in the original, so that's been a really, really nice thing here, because he's also kind of our only frontliner. The Skellies help, but, they're not very reliable.
No one orders me around.
And then for some reason, I'm not just walking right onto the beacon. I'm not so sure. I probably past me was rambling about something. And to just get on the beacon. Just get on the beacon. See, now I know how you all feel. It's awful sometimes, can I tell you? All right, get on there, buddy. Oh, yeah.
Finally.
The gates have been opened. Once we've dealt with Sylvanas, the Inner Kingdom shall be ours.
Damn you monsters. What will it take to drive you back?
the ranger woman is starting to vex me greatly.
So yeah, similar to the previous mission, this mission has shown that its defense is really where the challenge lies at this point. Static defensive structures are not very cost efficient. They're just not very cost efficient, in my opinion. I mean, I had quite a lot, plus 4 to 5 Crypt Fiends, and it still wasn't enough. But I also had forgotten to turn some of those into Spirit Towers. There are actually quite a lot of them, so it makes sense why it didn't really work out. But just something to keep in mind, I think, like, in terms of army, you probably want to have, like, a 50-50 split of offense and defense. If not, maybe going up to, like, 2/3 army supply at home with 1/3 with some actual microwing attacking, because attacking is a lot easier, like I had mentioned. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Thank you for putting up with some post-commentary, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.